The First World War, despite its horrific death toll, failed to create a lasting peace. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to end the conflict, instead sowed the seeds for another. Germany, burdened by crippling reparations and territorial losses, became fertile ground for resentment and nationalism. The global economic depression of the 1930s exacerbated these tensions. With millions unemployed and economies in freefall, extremist ideologies flourished. In Germany, Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party, promising national revival through expansionism and racial purity, rose to power. Hitler, driven by a twisted worldview, began to rearm Germany in defiance of the Treaty of Versailles. He embarked on a campaign of territorial expansion, annexing Austria and the Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia. His actions, met with appeasement from other European powers desperate to avoid another war, only emboldened him further. On September 1, 1939, Hitler's armies invaded Poland, shattering the fragile peace. Britain and France, finally recognizing the danger posed by Nazi aggression, declared war on Germany 2 days later. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, had begun. The German invasion of Poland showcased a new form of warfare, blitzkrieg. Combining rapid armoured advances with overwhelming air power, German forces quickly overran the Polish defences. The Soviet Union, having signed a non-aggression pact with Germany, seized eastern Poland, revealing the cynical nature of their alliance. In the spring of 1940, Hitler turned his attention to Western Europe. Denmark and Norway fell in quick succession, followed by a lightning-fast campaign that saw the Netherlands, Belgium and France defeated in just 6 weeks. The fall of France, once considered a military powerhouse, sent shockwaves across the globe. With continental Europe under Nazi control, Britain stood alone against the Nazi war machine. The Battle of Britain, an aerial campaign fought over the skies of England, became a pivotal moment in the war. The Royal Air Force, though outnumbered, fought bravely against the Luftwaffe, ultimately preventing a German invasion. In December 1941, the war expanded dramatically when Japan, seeking to establish dominance in Asia, launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack, which killed over 2,400 Americans and crippled the U.S. Pacific Fleet, brought the United States into the war, transforming the conflict into a truly global struggle. The Eastern Front, a vast battleground stretching from the Arctic Circle to the Black Sea, witnessed some of the most brutal fighting of World War II. The German invasion of the Soviet Union, in June 1941, codenamed Operation Barbarossa, was initially successful. However, the Red Army, fueled by a fierce determination to defend their homeland, eventually halted the German advance. The Battle of Stalingrad, a grueling 6-month siege that devastated the city and claimed the lives of over 2 million soldiers and civilians, marked a turning point in the war. The German defeat at Stalingrad, along with the Allied victory at El Alamein in North Africa, shattered the myth of German invincibility and swung the momentum of the war in favor of the Allies. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway, fought in June 1942, proved to be a decisive naval battle. American forces, aided by code-breaking intelligence, inflicted a crushing defeat on the Japanese fleet, sinking 4 Japanese aircraft carriers and ending Japan's offensive capabilities in the Pacific. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of Burma, from the icy waters of the Atlantic to the scorching deserts of North Africa, World War II raged on. Each battle, each victory and defeat contributed to the ultimate outcome of the conflict. Section 4. The Price of Defiance, Resistance Movements and Reprisals. Across Nazi-occupied Europe, ordinary men and women rose up to resist the German occupation. These resistance movements, often poorly armed and operating under constant threat of discovery, carried out acts of sabotage, gathered intelligence, and provided safe passage to escaped prisoners of war and those fleeing persecution. The French resistance, for example, played a vital role in disrupting German operations and assisting the Allied invasion on D-Day. However, resistance came at a heavy price. The Nazis, ruthless in their efforts to crush any form of opposition, responded to acts of resistance with brutal reprisals against civilians. Villages were razed, hostages were executed, and innocent men, women, and children were deported to concentration camps. The horrors inflicted on the civilian population served as a stark reminder of the barbarity of the Nazi regime and the high stakes of the war. Section 5, The Abyss, gazes back, the Holocaust's unfathomable depths. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime and its collaborators, remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. Driven by a racist ideology that viewed Jews as an existential threat, the Nazis implemented a plan to exterminate European Jewry. Jews were stripped of their citizenship, their property, and their humanity. They were herded into ghettos, subjected to forced labor, and ultimately deported to concentration camps, where they were murdered in gas chambers, shot, or worked to death. The Holocaust was not only a crime against the Jewish people, but an assault on the very foundations of civilization. It serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred, prejudice, and the fragility of human rights.